This is how to make your first viral phonk beat that sounds something like this. When it comes to things like phonk, you don't know where to start. All phonk beats start from melodies, okay? And if you need samples, go into my Discord and I'll have the samples for you. Okay, now for my sample, like I said, the samples vary, but I'll be using this. And for the mixing, I added reverb and I added delay. Really simple, nothing crazy. Okay, now for my melody, I kept it high pitched. As you can see, I kept it in the C6 area because I wanted it to be higher. This is my main melody. If you can't think of a melody, don't be afraid to copy this melody, but you can add some new things to it or change some notes or do whatever. You're not going to learn how to make more melodies in the future if all you do is copy and you don't play around and experiment. But when it comes to phonk, you usually want to be in a certain type of pattern, and I'll show you that pattern right now. So the pattern that you usually want to make melodies is this type of pattern, this, and then you start from there and you just kind of keep it going and add some, like maybe some notes are shorter, maybe some notes have like a second part to it. If you really pay attention to when you listen to a phonk song, they don't use kicks, they use this thing called stacked bass, okay? And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So what you do is you grab this sample, which will also be in my Discord, and you follow the melody, okay? So, and you want a bass note every beat, okay? Go to move your thing to beat, it'll make it a lot easier. You just click every line, okay? And it's a pattern like this. I also bass boosted mine. You open a Fruity Paramedic EQ2 and you take the lowest pitch and you move it up to boost the bass. You also want to make sure your master, make sure you turn Fruity Limiter off because that ruins the way that your music sounds, especially phonk, because of how bass boosted everything is. Alright, I've made the bass part. This is how it sounds. And like I said, it's stacked bass. So what you want to do is you want to Control C, Control V, make sure it's on the same part as the first one, and you want to hold Control and click your up arrow, and then it moves it up an octave, and then you have this. So now it sounds better instead of sounding just super deep and bass boosted and a little annoying. Okay, now I'm also going to add a counter melody. It isn't really a counter melody, but it's just a melody to go on top of the first one, just so you know just so the person that's listening to the song is hearing more things at once. It keeps you more engaged with the song. Okay, so this is one of my melody layers. This is my second melody layer. Okay, now I'm going to show you what it sounds like all together, but if some of your patterns go more than a bar and you just want this to repeat, instead of clicking it and then pasting it back again, you can just hover over it and then click Control B to paste it right next to it. Also, if you're doing a long song and you just want it to repeat over and over again, you can do that a bunch of times with multiple different patterns, but we're not going to be doing that right now. Alright, this is what it sounds like all together. Like I said, every sample that I'm using in this song, that goes from the basses to the kicks to the sound effects, everything is going to be in my Discord. Just tap in and get your samples. Alright, but once you have your base of what you want the beat to be, now we have to work on an intro. So usually you want the intro to be around like 2 bars at the least. I like mine 4, to be honest, but you know. If you notice, a lot of these things, they kind of have like a rap intro, and it's kind of just like super subtle in the back. So I'm actually gonna grab a super old phonk kit that I have. I'm going to click this button. Instead of cutting off clips when I grab the end of it, it's gonna shorten them. As you can see by the audio visualizer, it's getting shortened instead of cut off, so I'm going to shorten this so it's on beats. But as you can see, I'm having mistakes, I'm fixing them. There's nothing wrong with experimenting and trying out everything to make your song sound better. I'm gonna have it repeat this pistol packing, never smacking. I'm just gonna have it repeat that part instead of the whole thing. Pistol packing, never slacking.
slacking, bitch, killer, killer. Pistol packing, never slacking, bitch, killer, killer.
I'm gonna have this repeat for 8 bars. So as you can see, I added an intro vocal. I added something with the beat drops, and I added little bits of the melody to hear, so you know what it's gonna start with. Kind of a build up. We also have the grave, the whoosh, and that's it for now. I decided to change the BPM too, slow it down a little bit. I'm on 138 right now. If you guys want to copy me, go ahead. Alright, I have the 8 bars, and I'm gonna make a break, and then it's gonna repeat again. Alright, this is what I did for the break. Feel free to copy. So I cut up the vocals, made it sound different, keep it engaging. So I chopped up the vocals, I kept it engaging, decided to switch things up. And then it just repeats again, so you can rock out with it. Also, the way I copied this over, as you can see, you can't just control B because the break's right here. So what I did is I selected everything, and then I held shift and I clicked and held all the way until it's where I want it, and then I let go of both, and then it's there. And this is what the break sounds like. And then you can do this as many times as you want. Just don't have the song too loud or too short. It's going to be short for now. This is what you want to do for your end part. You want to take the same part that you did at the beginning, and you want to make sure there's something here, because FL Studio, when there's nothing left, it'll just repeat the song, and you don't want it to be this last bit and then just end up mid-note. Okay, you want a few seconds of silence. So you want to grab any sort of audio, turn it down all the way, and just put the end where you want FL Studio to stop. And what I did for the end is I just took what I put at the start, the intro, I took the one shot, and I just put it at the end. So this is what it sounds like. And you can see the few seconds of silence before the audio will end. Make sure to let me know if you guys want more tutorials like these. I've been having fun with music videos, so I might keep that going for a while. Depends on how this video does, but if you want more videos like these, make sure to leave it in the comments. Also, make sure to help my video get out to more people that also need tutorials like this. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is the full song.
Packing, never slacking, bitch, killer, killer. Pistol packing, never slacking, bitch, killer, killer.